What's going on YouTube? Flopfish here, bringing you episode 1 of my Stanley Cup vlogs, and this is pretty much where I recap yesterday's action and talk about my thoughts and opinions and stuff. So yesterday, first night of the playoffs, pretty exciting night overall, but wasn't was a surprising night actually. You saw Philly come back from down 3-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh just dominated in the first because Philadelphia looked asleep. Abysmal period by Brizgalov, didn't look that good at all in that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Braden Shen leads a comeback. And someone who wasn't really talked about a lot with a goal and 2 assists last night. Really, really, really good player for them. Clutch player. Jakub Voracek ended up scoring the game winner, a guy not a lot of people talk about, but pretty highly skilled power forward right there. Probably will be a difference maker in this series, but you never know. I'm still sticking to Pittsburgh to win that, but Philly's going to have a lot of fight in this, as you saw in that game. One of the things that surprised me out of the game is the lack of physicality and bad blood between the two teams. The games leading up to the playoffs were brutal, like absolutely amazing games to watch, but I mean, they were violent and nasty and had all of the stuff you expected out of playoff hockey. Let's move into the West and just recapping games, and I'll get into the more detailed stuff. Of note in that Pittsburgh Philadelphia game, there's 2 calls, both leading to goals. A missed icing call, it was actually waved off, but it was waved off really late. So not much Philly could do there. That led to a Pittsburgh goal, and a clear offside call leading to a goal. But my thumbs are up to Dan Bylsma for pretty much saying that the goal had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. Just because they let in that goal, they didn't get the call. It had nothing to do with it. Well, you know what? Props to you, because like you said, your team kind of sucked down the second half and they need to bring it up. Next up, we have the Western Conference, which is the penalty-filled conference. Between the two games, there were 27 power plays, 14 in the Nashville-Detroit game, and 13 in the Kings-Canucks game. Nashville ended up winning 3-2. Couple of quick goals, and all of a sudden they're up a bit, and then Detroit rallies back a little late, but Detroit went 2 for 8 on the power play. Predators went 0 for 6, so power play was definitely something to watch out for, specialty teams there. But that's 28 minutes out of a hockey game. Never mind regular season, we're talking about playoffs, and it's 28 minutes. Like, that's a ton. That's almost half the game on special teams. That's not fun hockey to watch. To be honest, I don't really know what was going on there, but the game hopefully got looked at by the league. Hopefully they got everything settled down, because 14 is a ton of penalties and power plays. But of note in that game, Shea Weber, in my opinion, should have got a 1 to 3 game suspension for punching the back of the head of Henrik Zetterberg. Very nasty hit, but in the latter stages of the game too, not really much left in the game, and just boom, out of nowhere, socks him in the back of the head. He actually only got a $2,500 fine, which a guy reported it as being, say you earn $50,000 a year, that's like a $16 fine. That's like pretty much saying, okay, here's some money, yeah, you didn't really do anything wrong. Realistically, that should have been a 1 to 3 game suspension. It wasn't unnecessary as a hit to the head, stuff you're trying to get rid of. I know Weber's first time doing something, but I mean, that should be at least a game suspension. I was really shocked at the outcome there. And speaking of shocked of outcomes, this is not the score. The score didn't surprise me. I wasn't feeling that good about the Canucks last night, actually. I'd said they win just because I'm a big Canucks fan and I'll always say they win, but LA outplayed them. There's no other way to deny it. Quick outplayed Luongo. Luongo led him 1 softie. Quick, a couple of them you can say were soft, but they were weird deflections. One he got bumped on, which I'll talk about. But a couple of blown calls by the linesmen. Not so much officials. There's no late hits in the series at all. It's already been predetermined. The most arguable call in the whole game had to be Kessler's hand pass in the dying stages. Should that have not been a hand pass? Canucks had possession in the zone, in the slot, with about 15 seconds left or so. Probably more than that. But because the ref thought it was a hand pass, which it wasn't, not much. The LA won the faceoff, which they won the faceoff, rightfully so. And they scored an empty netter to make it 4-2, and that put the game to bed. But if it wasn't called, we could be looking at a different outcome here. Because you get the puck in the slot there's maybe 1-2 defenders there, and you never know what can happen. You put a couple shots on net there, all of a sudden it's a tie game. But what I really want to talk about there is, outside of the late hits being called, is there's two major points. One is the non-goaltender interference call on Ryan Kessler on the first goal. And the reasons why it wasn't called is mainly because Quick was out of the blue. And he was out of the blue, he embellished it. Kessler kind of got a stick to the face and kind of drew it a bit too. So they kind of balanced each other out. And then, Quick wasn't really in position for the Burrows shot, and Burrows scored. Not much you can do there. Other than that, the reason why I think that wasn't called where normally it is because of all the stuff Tim Thomas did last year. All the penalties Canucks got, and they finally started to get calls in their favors for it because they crashed the net and they were just around the blue area, and Thomas was coming out way out, and Canucks would bump into him and get a goaltender interference penalty. But if you're outside of the blue paint, is that really a penalty? You have your zone. You should probably stay in it, in my opinion. Just my thoughts on goaltenders. If you leave your crease, you're fair game. You should be treated like any player. I know you have a different role to play, but the crease is there for a reason, and you can only be protected so much. I'm not saying players should full on level them, but if there's coincidental contact outside of the blue paint, beyond me to say that's a penalty. If it was on Luongo would be halfway flopping around like he did last night. He got barely pushed and somehow found his way through the net. And, he let in his 1 week goal. 1 week goal a game, you kind of get used to it from him. But that's why I like Schneider much better. And the final thing of note from last night, this has been kind of longer than I wanted to do it, but was the Byron Bitz 5-minute major penalty on Kyle Clifford. Clifford left the game with an upper body injury, more than likely a concussion. Bitz only got 2 games. 2. Now, if you go and watch that hit, search it up on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. His elbow stayed at the same plane all the way through the hit. It wasn't like Clifford dropped down or anything. The elbow stayed at the same plate, targeted the head the whole way, and there's no way of defending that. That should not be a 2-game suspension in my opinion either. He came in with a lot of speed. He hit him in the head. That should probably be a 5-game suspension. Really shocked he got 2. I have no clue why he got 2. Yes, it's the playoffs, but that was a dangerous hit. That was a very dangerous hit. As far as tonight goes, you got St. Louis versus San Jose. Big test for both teams. San Jose finally doesn't have a lot of pressure on them. They have lots of pressure off, and they seem to crumble under the pressure when they're the underdogs. They seem to excel, so who knows? We could look at that this year, and they might be able to do something. St. Louis, if they work as a team, they could be very scary, but if they don't, then San Jose is going to dominate. I don't think St. Louis has the individual skill power to outplay the San Jose Sharks. Other than that, it was a pretty busy night last night in the NHL. Lots to talk about, that's for sure. I'll try to do these every day, hopefully at least, and get them done. But if not, it's going to be every once in a while. But stay tuned if you like these playoff updates. I will be posting them every day. I'll post the scores in the descriptions. You can follow me on Twitter. That's in the description. Other than that, guys, take it easy and enjoy the rest of the playoffs tonight. Peace out.